Last Miramar of the day, last match here of the day, and my eyes are fixated right in the center of the map. Pecado, will we see GK get spanked for a third time in a row?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope
they
so
started
as well.
off so good that I was really hoping this team would continue that kind of performance in the way that they were able to just fall off. I mean, with those awful last two matches, they need to be able to bounce back. I really hope that they don't try to go for any hot drops. By the way, highest damage, Coops, 3,628.
Wow. I mean, this guy has had a day. I mean, the second Miramar match we saw, we're about to see right now, is going to be interesting. Now, one thing is for sure, right? Pecado's a little bit too far offline here, so I don't expect to see a crazy hot drop scenario here. But you know what? The way we see, Coops playing, the way we see some of these monsters playing, maybe we might just see a little bit of action here off the rip.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I mean, we see currently where Enigma Galaxy is dropping. I'm fixated. Like while you were mentioning Hot Jukes, I want to see what's going to happen there in Pecado, and I don't think we're going to be getting a hot drop this time. I think GK might have decided to just back off, which is the smart play.
Smart play, but I do hear some shots,
Oh.
so we definitely hear a couple players getting into it. Oh, it's going to be Ragnar Karia.
Never mind.
Yeah, and they're going to lose a player early on, so that's going to be tough for them.
And guess who it was?
Ooh.
GK Esports.
Wow. GK cannot afford. It's in Pecado, baby. Here we go. In the apartments. They want their revenge. They have the man advantage. Now, Ragnar Karia does have a lot of shotguns. That can be very scary. Even though GK has the man advantage, they have to play it carefully. Oh! Satan got dominated, and Ragnar goes down. Ragnar Karia. Oh, another shot here. Hey, clutching it up. Almost did. It's just wild. 1 HP. Marth has to hit this. Reload. Uzi.
Marth, the youngest player in the team, can he clutch it up? This is probably one of the biggest moments in his career, and they're deciding to back off.
No way.
No, and he decided to cancel the heal too.
Full reset? No, you have to push. You have to know Wild is lit. Instead, they let him get off the res, and we're going to see Marth barely get that finish off. Wild trying to hold it down with this shotgun. It's over and under, so he's only got 2 shots in it at a time. But Marth doesn't have a vest. He's looking for one.
He doesn't.
And they lose Ragnar because of it.
And
I think
now
Marth should have pushed that.
I think Marth should have pushed that too, but I think he decided to back off because he did, like as you mentioned it, he didn't have that vest. Something that I do want to point out though out of GK that they were able to adjust from that last Miramar is that they decided to have Satan drop with them and make it a 4v4 fight. But guess what? Now they're gonna be backing off, and I'll be shocked. Honestly, if these teams decide to engage again, if they don't decide to just fully back off.
You can see them talking to each other. They are not happy. So, wow, Ragnar Karia are going to be able to eject from this situation, at least for now. You see him looking at that Uzi, but instead he wants those shotguns straight in hand. Trying to look for some first aids, any kind of utility. These apartments seem to be picked dry pretty much. And we're going to see a full detraction from both of these squads. So, both of them losing a member. It is a lose-lose situation, in all honesty.
Marth now wanting to take some shots, now wanting to get a little bit aggressive here.
A little too late, in my opinion.
Loxy just backing off. I think Ragnar Karia, this is the smart play. Just back off because guess what? GK is currently out for blood. They're looking to make sure they even it out to 1-1, the scoreboard, when it comes to that Pecado hot drop. And I think I was able to hear it. He backed off so quick.
He heard that nade pin pull, and he was like, nah, I'm not risking it right now, because if I get docked, he knows he's going to be in big trouble. Wild's holding the angles. He does have an AK. He found an M249, too. That's going to help out big time. So let's see how GK opts to do this. They are giving a little bit too much breathing room to Ragnar Karia. They're going to have the advantage of being outside in this situation. Both of them holding just this side of the building. So GK, very hesitant here, losing Ragnar.
GK is being aggressive, and if they are going to be continuing to be this aggressive, they need to watch out for the player from Ragnar Karia that's currently holding that off angle. I wasn't able to currently see his name, but they need to be careful. Slow it down a little bit. There you go, Loxy. That's the one currently holding the off angle in Gaith. This might benefit him because the bus is currently blocking Loxy's view.
I don't think they have the audio cues fully down yet because I still think that they think that they're in the building still. They don't realize that they're all completely just outside. As Satan is taking that high ground. Marth does know that he's got one across the street.
Oh, he's trying to bait him. He's trying to jump up and see if he'll take some shots so Satan can just peek up and get some shots on Loxy.
Your angles have to be perfect. It's going to be hard because I don't know if Satan does have an angle from this position. So yeah, that's a risky play.
Yeah, they would definitely have to push out in a big way. They have to commit to it. It's either 100% or not, right?
Yeah, well, you got Marth on that off angle just trying to find something. So that's interesting. And Satan, he has to know that these players are outside the building as well by now. Wild, okay, now jumping on in. Okay, so now they're inside.
Now they're wanting to switch it up, and I think that's the smart play considering that there was somebody from GK going to the stadium and trying to get another angle. You can see Marth there getting spotted, being able to lay down just in time as he got super low on health. Satan needs to be careful. Needs to make sure he doesn't overextend here because Loxy is still holding those angles, and when he decides to push on, oh no, Satan, the timing there, not in his favor, Jukes.
Yeah, literally throws the nade right when he crosses. You know, that's the worst case scenario. Marth has no first aids, nothing. So he's just stuck on the roof with 1 HP and gets bopped. That is terrible for GK. And okay, Hayes does even the fight a little bit. Satan gets beat up in the process. No helmet, no vest. And not to mention, Rangam Karya are on the other side. They're going to be able to get a lot of loot from this scenario too. GK's in big trouble.
They will be able to, and I think GK is going to be looking to pick up Marth, and after this one, they're going to see if maybe they can fully send it. Meanwhile, Gates trying to get some different angles, continuing to push onto Regnum Karya, and Regnum Karya needs to be careful.
Oh, he gave up his position.
He exposed himself, and I don't think his teammates are ready just yet. Yeah, I mean, Marth still doesn't have any heals. This is not the right play here, as now Regnum Karya is going in for that push. They have the shotties ready, and it ended up working out. The bait worked. GK being able to even it out here on the Picado hot drop 1-1.
That was so sick. He did end up taking that rock there. It's a tried and true spot, and they thought they had the man advantage in a 2v1, but that off angle just came in so clutch. So GK does get the last laugh here. They do lose a player early on though, so that is gonna hinder them a little bit. But with 4 eliminations and getting the revenge on Regnum Karya, they gotta definitely feel good. But honestly, that was a little too close for comfort, in my opinion. That was scary.
You know what, while we have some time here, I'm going to be calling out a player. Marth, I didn't feel like he had confidence in that engagement. He was kind of doubting himself there, especially going back to when his teammates were knocked, when he was the last one alive. You could see him trying to go for the heal and then moving a little bit more and then going for the heal again, and he was debating in his head, do I want to make this push? Do I want to back off? And then on top of that, he decided to go on top of the roof, even though he didn't have any heals, and still try to engage on the fight, even if he had just 10 HP. Not what you want to see there out of your player.
Ooh, I'll tell you what you don't want to see. This next circle, all the way down to the south, baby. We're gonna go down, vamos a la playa. We're going to the beach, baby. And this is gonna be a heck of a rotation. Imagine if you're gangsters all the way up near Campo Militar.
You know who's currently happy?
Who's that?
Mad Bulls.
Mad Bulls, big chillin'.
Rotation into the circle, and they're gonna be able to set themselves up.
Goodness gracious, this is ridiculous. This zone is so toxic, and not to mention, like, the terrain in this area is terrible. You want a buggy because it's just so many hills, so many valleys, and we're starting to see squads full send it on down. Take a look at the replay here as we watch. Gorka! Wow, get one. How about 2?
Hit him with it.
Got him.
And on top of that, do the max man thing and just confirm it by running them over. That's the way to do it.
Absolutely.
10 points, baby.
Yeah, beautifully executed right there.
You were talking about gangsters. I mean, this is a team. Yeah, this zone does not favor them at all, considering how far away they are from the circle. And that team continues to rotate super, super slow as Enigma Galaxy trying to get rid of some of those vehicles there from Fireflux. They were able to get some shots. That vehicle is currently smoking. Oh, they were able to pop some tires too. Yeah, you better back out of that, Solus. And I think Solus realizes that. He's like, I think we'll stay in this little, tiny shack.
I think this shack is the play. That's for sure, and I can't blame him at all. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Enigma Galaxy, our previous match winners here. How are they opting to play this Miramar? They realize that they have an advantage in here with how many points they got in the last one, and the Kitsune popping Lord out, and Freak gets a revenge. He gets his get back right there. And so it's a nice back and forth between Nigma Galaxy and Gladiators from long range.
They do get a nice trade, though. Can Nigma Galaxy pick up Lord? That is going to be a tough ask, and Coops is just trying to send it. Coops doing Coops things. I think Raouf is going to be able to actually pick up Lord. Meanwhile, Freak getting shot out by Matic.
Let's take a look here as Raouf gets a, wow, that was crazy. That was actually Coops getting a shot onto Tixie right there. So Nigma Galaxy, even though they're playing separate, they're getting some nice shots, but they're also getting traded in return. Matic up on top of the hill, trying to catch Coops as he's driving away, gets one hit marker, not able to get a second, but man, Coops is gonna have to leave his teammates out dry here. And Freak, I think, is gonna be doing the same thing.
I think they're going to just try to group up, and they are going to end up leaving them. That is the smart play. Good to see out of here, Nigma Galaxy, even though you do end up losing to players, good to see that they are willing to disengage, knowing that this is not a favorable fight, and knowing that this has taken too long, and they're kind of allowing themselves up there to get their party.
Yeah, well, this next circle is scary, right? This next circle is so interesting that, you know, even as two players, you could definitely find yourself a nice little cheeky spot and put some points on the board. Vision Esports does get eliminated in 15th, so that's 2 teams out of here already. 14 squads still remaining.
You're talking about the circle. I'm over here like, hold on, do I need my glasses? Because I couldn't even see the circle with how many teams are just all over the place. Freak being able to knock somebody down from Road to Glory.
It's crazy to see that Enigma Galaxy is down to 2 players, but they're still being active and they're still trying to hunt down some eliminations from long range. So Freak not afraid to get into the action here, even though he's at a disadvantage. 20 seconds left on the clock for this next circle, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And it looks like we are going to have, it's going to be centering up on the island a little bit here. So that's going to be nice. And
the circle is going to start closing down too. Somehow Gangster still not within the circle. De Muerte still not in the circle, but you know who is? Brute Force getting some shots here on Excuse Me.
Yeah, they have the high ground advantage, so they have all the vision in the world onto Excuse Me. Now they're just looking for that initial knock. Once they get that knock, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them push, because Brute Force has been playing like this all day long. Really aggressive playstyle. They really know when to turn on that aggression when needed.
Now the team that we got a chance to see earlier, Satan exposed, going up against Easy. And this is not the place where you want to be.
Yeah, he knows it.
Move out of there.
He's like, I am way out of position. I'm wide out in the open. Let me throw a smoke down, try to get in my truck, and dip. So he does put a couple nice little pop shots. And with the zone closing, he's going to be able to get to safety. So let's see as AZ's in that buggy, trying to find his squad. And he does pass up Satan in the meanwhile. And Satan's forced to run out in the open. Yeah, I don't think... Oh, that buggy's smoking. He has no way to get to it. He has to run.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Satan was able to survive that. How did he get away with that, considering that he was sandwiched? I think it might have been his player, Gaid, being able to hold those angles on GQ and forcing them to not even engage there with Satan.
It's beautiful done.
And talking about it, guess what? They were able to get a different angle and actually knock him. Yeah, there's no way he was going to survive that. If GQ wouldn't have punished him for it, I would have been scratching myself. But good to see GQ being able to readjust themselves and be able to get that extra ill and confirm that point.
Caught him off guard. Caught him off guard. And Satan, once he lost his buggy, he was just dead in the water. I mean, he was hoofing it, but not able to hoof it fast enough. Let's see as Evo Station tries to catch aces. Oh, he does pop out right onto his knees, getting knocked instantly.
De Muerte coming in so late. He had no idea where he was going to. He probably saw one player knock. He tried to make the most of it, but as soon as he's hopped out, it was all over. Now, Jukes, this is what you've been wanting to see, where this circle's going. I want to see northeast. Oh,
okay. All right, let's go ahead and bring it onto the east side here. All right, right next to that Chumacera little mountainside here. This is going to be that high ground. It is out of circle, though, so we're going to see Gangsters get into it with Brute Force. Wash throwing some smokes down, trying to be able to reduce the off angles near him. Meanwhile, he got Axer all the way from across trying to pick up some points.
YDO from Brute Force being able to take on the fight, but he needs to be careful. Yeah, because the Team Falcon, they still had that angle.
Axer, you are disgusting. I mean, this man was trying to clutch it up, trying to pull off a miracle play, but Axer said, nah, not today.
Not today, and I'll take those easy elims as now Brute Force is kind of turning their way around and seeing if they can somehow continue the fight.
Jafar getting picked apart right here. Yeah, I believe Brute Force is down to just one player here, so we'll see if he's able to get some points later on. Meanwhile, Falcons from across holding on this edge, just stealing points little by little.
And this is what happens when you are gangsters. This is what happens when you're the Muerte. Two teams that have been rotating super late, especially gangsters throughout the whole day. It ends up backfiring. You don't know where you're going to be rotating into. You don't know where you're going to be pushing into. And on top of that, it hurts them in a big way.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does indeed. So right now we're going to have Brute Force down to a single player just trying to heal up. Meanwhile, we're looking at this next circle. You got Enigma Galaxy Coop still alive with 2 players. Fireflux been real quiet since we've gotten on the cast here. Maybe it's their final time to shine here with a nice chicken dinner towards the end. Uh-oh. Nope. He does get popped right in the back. Instantly stands up, goes back to the lay down as he does have that coverage now as Neo is going to go out to pop a blue.
And honestly, I wouldn't really expect much out of Neo's. A player, too, that has been having issues today. We saw him being able to overextend earlier when he wanted to get at least his first Ilum. He was like, yeah, I'll die to the blue zone.
Yeah, and then deny the point. Deny the point while you can. That's the way to do it right there. Meanwhile, let's take a look here. We're looking at the zone. Fireflux. They are holding that east side, that edge style play. We've definitely seen teams start to pick up that since PMWI. Let's take a look at Gladiators as well. Finally, rocking a full squad towards an end game scenario. This is where they really thrive. You got Matic on top of a roof, applying some pressure. All they're trying to do is play keep away, force every single team away from them.
It is, and for Matt and for G Gladiators, what I want to be able to see is if the circle doesn't go in their favor, how they're going to be able to group up, how fast are they going to be able to group up and actually go into that zone. And another, GQ, you trying to take those tires off? We were talking about it earlier too when we were watching the games. Like, just try to get one tire off, man. You're gonna make their lives so much harder.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, I mean, especially here at Miramar, you want to be able to pop out those tires. You're able to get one, they're gonna spin out, and they're gonna be dead in the water. And a great example of that was Satan just a little bit earlier, right? I mean, even though the circle was so big, once he lost his buggy, he was screwed. Well, let's see who's going to get screwed in this next zone as it's about to pop on over. Who's about to get blessed? It'll definitely help because that road right down the center. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to stay right down the center as this next zone centers up nicely.
This couldn't have been any better for GG and GG. The big question mark, how fast are they going to be able to regroup? How fast are they going to be able to select different angles there on that compound and defend it? Because we know for sure at some point some teams might be crashing into it.
Everybody's going to be battling on the edge here. The center zone is not an option. That is a dead man walking area. So we're going to see an absolute battle on the edges here. We got teams completely surrounding this area. Gladiators are in a really good spot. They have that compound inside of the circle. And not to mention those roofs. So I can't wait to see how they decide to handle this circle.
I want to see how Team Falcons is going to be able to kind of breach any situation here as they do have eyes on Mad Bulls. We saw what happened earlier to Mad Bulls on the first Miramar. They third party, and after that, it was all over because they took a little bit too long. We also see Fireflux there in the high ground, which is great for this team considering the firepower that they do have and considering, I mean, if they can just get one knock, if they can cause some damage like they're causing right now there to next Riyadh, they're going to make some lives impossible, and that's exactly what Fireflux is looking to do.
Yes, sir, indeed. You got 2 EU Titans on either side of this map. You got Fireflux on the west. You got Gladiators on the east. Let's see if these 2 European squads can take the chicken dinner here. Meanwhile, let's see what Next Riyadh is looking to do. So Next Riyadh is trying to take that center line. It is very, very scary, though. They do take a little itty-bitty divot, but they're getting punished for it. As, excuse me, doing a great job of taking some nice suppressive fire onto Doku Machine, and they're going to be in full laydown, but they're most likely going to lose all their vehicles in this position.
Which for them, it's fine because they decided to position themselves straight down the middle of the circle, but if for some reason it ends up not going their favor, it's going to backfire in a big way, Hot Jukes.
They definitely took a huge bet here. Meanwhile, let's see Axer try to hit that big nade. Oh, overthrows it. This man has been eaten. And I'll tell you what, he's got an arm on him. So just overthrowing it just a little bit too much. But he's got the shots. Beautifully done. Opening things up on the Mad Bulls. Now, knowing exactly where they're at, he's going to throw this nade. It looks good.
And Tulika said, you're going to throw one at us. Guess what? We're going to be throwing one at you. And he ends up getting knocked. Now, Team Falcons looking to push this, looking to get rid of Mob Bulls. Here come the nades. Here comes the shots. Team Falcons, the nade, is he going to hit him? Oh, he's going to, oh my God. He tried to run to it. He survived, though.
TQ on the other side has to take out Zurich here. He gets him down to 1 HP, though. He has to clutch it for a squad. He can't do it. Kabbalah takes him down from Nexus Gaming.
Nexus Gaming heard this fight going on for so long that they were like, you know what? It's time for us to get in there and take care of everybody. And that's exactly what they did, as Road to Glory now is looking to third-party Nexus Gaming.
It's about time, man. Nexus Gaming finally starting to wake up here in the last match of the day. They have a long road ahead of them, though. They have not had the start to the tournament that they were looking for. Next circle does center up again. You got Nexruya holding down that center line barely with that little itty-bitty divot, and they're getting beat up in the process. Only one player up left for them.
They are, and I think they try to use those vehicles to their advantage. They weren't able to set them up in time. They weren't able to set them up the way they wanted to. In another fight that we're seeing, it's Fireflux. They end up losing Solus, and Solus has been such a good player for them. It looks like that high ground has started to backfire on Fireflux.
Man, that's the player you want, too. You want Solus with that mini, just absolutely abusing the rest of this lobby. You got Ketch, though. Ketch is a monster with the mini as well. He's no stranger to it. He's got that M4 and the high ground. You look down at Excuse Me, trying to catch him slipping. Oh, okay, we got a full send from Road to Glory. Coops holding it down, and for just a little while, but Road to Glory shutting down Nigma Galaxy.
Road to Glory realized that there was just probably two players in there, decided to go for that push, and now they're going to have to be careful because we saw Gladiators shooting at them, and now GQ going up against Fireflux, and they're going to be able to take care of Fireflux.
Wow.
Fireflux was able to get at least 5 Willems.
Yes, they did, but GQ has 10 eliminations to their name. They are our leaders right now in the lobby, so Team GQ with the high ground looking real good. Meanwhile, you got Gladiators on the other side of the map with 5 big chillin', but maybe not for long, as this next zone most likely will leave them hanging out to dry. Only one player up for Nexruya. That center position, like I said earlier, is it's a tough one to hold.
It is a tough one with so many angles going towards them, and guess what? GG still causing some damage. They haven't had to had any close range fights, so they're still gonna have a lot of utility when they do end up having to get out of here. One of the issues that they had in the last Miramar is that they were taking a little bit too long to reposition themselves. We'll see how they're gonna be able to use the utility that they do currently have to position themselves in a better way. As you can see, Nexus kind of setting themselves up, figuring out which way they're going to be rotating, and Road to Glory still close by as well.
Tell you what, this Mini 8X is the play. You can see him just popping shots, just single tapping in and absolutely dominating with it, getting some nice shots here onto Nexus, beating up those helmets, beating up those vests, as they're going to be stuck by these hay bales here right on the southern tip of the zone. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Gladiators really look to try to take out their vehicles here and leave them stranded. Yeah,
if I'm Gladiators, I'm going to be shooting at some tires if I get a chance, or if not, making those vehicles smoke even more. Is that right? Nexus decided to start pushing out at least one player out of them. That's good to see. You can see Kapahala trying to get a different angle. At some point, they know that they're going to have to worry about Road to Glory. Those vehicles need to stay away from it. This silent solo being able to get some shots there, trying to confirm that elimination, but he's not going to be able to. And I wonder if GQ is going to be able to recover that player. It is going to be a tough one with Tixie currently taking shots.
Tixie for the 3X, single tapping the M4. You can see he doesn't have a lot of ammo left. He only has about 2 magazines, so he wants to preserve that as much as he can. Meanwhile, we got Nexus Gaming applying pressure to Road to Glory. Here we go with the drive-ins. This is what they're known for here. Can they push with that vehicle? Instead, using those nades. Groza getting a nice one on Ex Machina.
Road to Glory now using those utilities to their advantage. They're just going back and forth. Who's going to be able to get the most knocks here with the nades? Who's going to decide to make the push? And I think it's going to be Road to Glory as they're trying to make a push for it. But on top of that, they have to be careful because GG is still keeping an eye on them. And GG currently taking advantage of all these fights, trying to get as many eliminations as they can. They're currently sitting with 7, and they haven't had to move in a very, very long time, and they're gonna have to make a push soon. I think Kitsune is already thinking about it too, as he decided to move a little bit closer towards where GQ was.
Yeah, Kitsune now having to press the action because the zone has left them completely. Meanwhile, Nexus need to take out Road to Glory as soon as possible. That nade is gonna help start things off, and with this blue zone coming in, Rio's in big trouble, and he's out of there. So there goes Road to Glory. Nexus Gaming finally showing up here in this tournament in the final match.
And in a big, big way there with 7 eliminations. And another team that's showing in a big, big way here in the final match of day 1 is GQ, currently sitting with 12 elims. And on top of that, they have the high ground. Now, G Gladiators being able to make a push here to this little cliffside, waiting to see if Frozen is going to end up engaging on this fight.
I'll tell you what, though, GQ have them surrounded. They have a nice spread here. They got to make sure not to get knocked, especially Korka in this position. Oh, what a shot. I'm telling you, these minis are coming out like crazy. And he's looking to get that finish. He might be able to do it, too, with that angle. Does he spot it? Oh, not able to get the confirm. And here comes the blue zone. That's going to force him out. But meanwhile, Matic gets knocked as Kapahala from the edge of the circle, making it happen here at the last second. And Tixie, it's really up to him to make a play.
GQ currently being able to use this high ground to their advantage. They're taking on fights with Nexus. They're taking on fights with GG. And guess what? GG finding themselves in a tough spot as Nexus is taking them down alongside there with GQ. Currently 3 players down, two players down from GG. Only 1 left standing, Jukes. This is not looking great for GG, but for GQ, how are they gonna be able to move down from this hill? It's gonna be a tough one.
It is gonna be a tough one, but they have the man advantage and they have the gun power to do it with all the sight lines. All they gotta do is to make sure to not make a mistake. If they work together, this should be an easy chicken dinner for them because every single team here has been dwindled down to nothing. You can see Evo Station trying to hit that cheeky nade onto Frozen. He does have health of him, so that is nice on him that front. But with this zone closing, it is starting to make that pressure applied to them. And man, Evo Station not able to take out Frozen. So that is another angle they're going to have to deal with here in endgame.
And Evo Station trying to get a little bit closer there to Frozen. Guess what? GG, that's going to be it. 8 elims. They won't be mad at that as Nexus
Wide open.
Trin, 23, laying down, and somehow he still survives. Okay, there you go. Now he gets eliminated, and now GQ can turn their attention to that last player standing, which is going to be Frozen. We've been talking about him. We've been wanting to see what he's going to do, and he's not even going to be able to showcase it because he gets a nade to the face.
Wow, huge points there for GQ. Honestly, they got that high ground. They used it to their advantage.